He eliminated.
ago?
Yes, there he is on the left. He eliminated Christian Calcano last round. Christian Calcano playing Team America. So it's Joseph Tibbetts.
And Joseph, we're going to get a first chance to see a full match of Merfolk. We saw a game of Merfolk much earlier. Game 3 in round 2 between Merfolk and Zoo, but here we're going to get a chance to see the match, which is already underway. I think it's turn 2 perhaps right now.
It is. Yep. There we go.
Now you'll notice well, that's interesting. Huh.
This is a little confusing.
This is, I'm not sure if we have the right deck list, actually.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we don't. It's Jeremy Tibbetts and we have the wrong deck list.
Yeah, we've got the wrong Tibbetts deck list. So, 1 second.
Alright, we'll figure that out. So it's not Merfolk,
so he's not
clearly
playing Merfolk. Well, he might be, but I don't think he is.
It'd be a blue-white.
It's Stoneblade.
Okay.
Yeah, the list we have in front of us is for a different Tibbetts.
We got Joe's.
Okay. Yeah, we have Joe's deck list.
We were about to be like, wow, this guy got pretty far without a deck check stopping him from having the wrong stuff. It'd be pretty awkward to be like a blue-white Merfolk deck and be eliminated playing for top 8. Okay. Sylvan Library from Matt Boccio. This is one of 2 Sylvan Libraries that receives a spell snare from Jeremy Tibbetts. It was indeed Jeremy Tibbetts that's playing. We have Joseph Tibbetts' deck list, but it's Jeremy Tibbetts who's the person playing.
We'll put this with the other deck list collection, I suppose, underneath there.
Yeah, why not?
You know, I mean, you can just throw it away. So, Spell Snare on the library. Misstep for the Spell Snare.
Nice.
Fighting over that library. That's a pretty big card, really.
A turn 2 Sylvan Library is just devastating. If there's no pressure happening, it's just going to go really far. Let's see. So we only have 6 creatures from this version, Jeremy's deck, 4 Stoneforge Mystics, 2 Vendilion Clicks.
Yeah, a lot of the recent versions, and even as we saw earlier today, have the Spellstarter sprites as well, just to be able to get a little bit of extra damage in, and sometimes pick up a sword or a Batterskull.
Brainstorm, also in the mix here now. It's a lot of spells on this stack. Force of Will, yet another spell on the stack.
Oh my. They are fighting like crazy over this Sylvan Library.
You have to fight over the Sylvan Library, you really do.
It's going to end up with both players with very few cards left in hand.
And away it all goes.
So did the library...
So the Sylvan gets to go then too.
Did the library resolve?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. I like his graveyard. It's just kind of a pile of cards. It's not even like a stack exactly. It's just like, there's like Sylvan Library kind of just hanging off the edge there. Alright, so Jeremy plays Misty Rainforest. There you go.
Matt untaps. He's got a Natural Order in hand. The top of his library, I think, might have given him a Force of Will. 2 mana. Green Sun Zenith for 1.
That's Noble Hierarch or a Dryad Arbor trying to play around a mental misstep. Yeah, but I suspect it's going to be the Noble Hierarch. And
there it is.
Jeremy cracking his Misty Rainforest.
3 Tundras in play now.
Sorry I stole your pen, but you have several. Do you really need multiple pens? Fine.
Okay.
If you're going to be that way. Thank you.
3 mana versus 3 mana. Shuffle, 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 shuffle.
And Vendilion Click at the end of Matt's turn, I believe.
Matt reveals a hand, includes Fire Ice, a card with glare, another card with glare, and a card with yet more glare.
That's pretty much how it is, yeah.
Fire Ice goes away, and 3 cards. Natural Order is one of those cards with glare. Now that says a lot when he is totally willing to have a Natural Order stay in your hand. I believe Jeremy Tibbetts has a counter spell, the card Counter Spell in his hand.
Love it.
Swords to Plowshares on the Noble Hierarch. Jeremy attacks for 3 and then goes back to Matt. Matt Boccio looking for something to do here. Lays a Tundra. Not Tundra, pardon me, Tropical Island. Jeremy Tibbetts is the guy with the Tundras. And he goes a main phase, Vendilion Click, which immediately pulls a counterspell out of Jeremy's hand. Seemed like it would have been wise to wait till Jeremy's upkeep for that play, if that was going to be the play. Matt knocked down to 12. Another main phase Vendilion Click. This time it connects, and the activation, or the trigger of the ability, the target is going to be chosen. And he chooses himself. Reveals a Natural Order, gets rid of it to draw a card.
Interesting.
Lays a Dryad Arbor. Jeremy, no end of turn effect. Still stuck on 3 lands.
And another Vendilion Click from Jeremy.
24 mana in Jeremy's deck, but quite a bit of drawing. He sees the hand, it's a Tarmogoyf and something, I couldn't quite tell because of the glare. He gets rid of the other card and lets the Tarmogoyf sit. Untap from Matt.
So the first click actually was Natural Order, Fire Ice, and Vendilion Click. He got rid of the Fire Ice, so we saw the Vendilion Click played, and then getting rid of one of the Natural Orders.
Tarmogoyf in play. In comes the Click, knocking Matt to 6. Land. Perhaps a Jace might come to the party.
Jace likes to party. Jace likes to party.
Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Four mana is tapped. There's a Jace.
There he is.
Matt says that looks okay. Predict we're going to see a bounce here. Tarmogoyf returns to the hand. Untap. A Natural Order here would be awesome for Matt Boccio. To be fair, I think a Natural Order might not actually be sufficient. Natural Order would get less Progenitus. Jeremy would attack Matt to 3. Matt would attack Jeremy to 6. Jeremy would attack Matt to dead.
Yeah.
So a Natural Order would not do it without help.
Sounds about right to me. Vendilion Click can race a Progenitus.
If you're at low enough life.
That's right. Actually, that happened in Denver, too. Nick Spagnolo playing against, I can't remember who he was playing against, but his opponent had Progenitus in play, and Nick had Vendilion Click in play, and I walked over, saw the board state, and then saw both players scooping up the cards, and I was like, oh, Nick Spagnolo just lost to Progenitus. And then I found out he won. Must have been very low life totals. All right, crack in the fetch land.
Five or 6, it makes no difference to the Click.
Now if he decides to crack 2 more fetch lands, I think Matt's in a little more trouble. Alright. Jeremy cuts, and Matt looks like he's going for
4 mana.
the natural order. It is. Natural order. Sacrificing Dryad Arbor. Jeremy, it's just, yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. Does he even have any cards in hand?
There's a Progenitus. No cards in hand, I don't believe.
Okay, I didn't think so. So Matt, at least gonna make it make an attempt. Here comes Goyf. It's gonna be a matter of, well, I mean, Jace just bounces Goyf, right? I don't know how big that Goyf is, but Matt goes to 2. Yeah, how big is the Goyf? Because, yeah, bounce it. It seems like the safest play anyway, but... Alright, so Matt has 1 chance to draw something to deal with that click. What does he have? Nothing. Alright, so Progenitus, unable to...
Progenitus ain't no thing.
Ain't no thing, no. It's just a squiggly Hydra thing. It's not even around. Like, it's like way in the background of the card art.
I mean, it looks like a small little, like, I don't know, some sort of little toy or something. It's so tiny.
Yeah. Reminding me of that movie Tremors. It's like got all the. It's just a whole bunch of them. I don't know. Isn't that a Hydra in Tremors? Isn't it? Yeah. No, it's not. But shouldn't it be? Call Kevin Bacon. Somebody in the room has to have his number. Isn't that the whole thing with this 6 degrees thing? Alright, to go into the sideboards. Surgical Extraction, 3 copies in Jeremy's sideboard. Interesting. I mean, the thing about Surgical Extraction versus the no rug list is no rug doesn't have to rely on its plan A.
That's right.
It's one of the most, I feel like, most resilient combo decks that we have in Legacy, being that even without having the combo at all, it can just beat you down with Tarmogoyfs and Vendilion Clicks.
In a lot of ways, it reminds me that way of Junk Depths, in which it's got like this solid base of a deck, and then, I've also got this combo.
That's a very good point. So Surgical Extraction seems like a maybe, I guess. You got to deal with the first natural order anyway. So I don't even know if that's worth it.
I don't think it is. I think that you could lose the fight via losing that card in hand.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw moments where Jeremy was down to no cards in hand, or one last card in hand, and making that no cards in hand happen sooner, or happen period, can be a big deal when you're dealing with a deck that can drop down a 10-10 protection from everything.
Now, I think he has got an extra Vendilion Click in the sideboard, which I would want to bring in. That information and just that ability to disrupt a potential a natural order. I wanted to call it no rug. Calling the card itself no rug.
my 3 cards I would definitely put in besides Vendilion Click are Phantasmal Image and 2 Wrath of God.
Yes.
I mean, you can be protection from everything, but
the Wrath of God
care.
still gets you.
He's like, that's cool. How about everybody dies anyway?
We need to get Eric Klug to do an art altar of with the Wrath of God, all the guys he's laying on the ground, and then like a Hydra kind of laying there too, Progenitus kind of in the artwork. But yeah, those seem like great inclusions. Every time I see an Elspeth, I feel like put that in the main deck,
right?
It's not really necessary. I feel like it's just so good. Obviously, the tokens it would just be an increased clock, really. I mean, it's otherwise. They're great to chump block things like the Tarmogoyf, but I don't know if it's that important.
I mean, Ancient Grudge, I think, comes in from the other deck, if he
yeah,
recognizes
take a
he's
look.
playing against a Stoneforge Mystic deck. He didn't see a Stoneforge Mystic, but it's reasonable to expect that a Stoneforge
Right.
Mystic might be coming from that.
That's true. Yeah, no Stoneforge Mystic, no equipment action from Jeremy that game. Just all blue control, Vendilion Click, and Jace. So, it's kind of it's going to be a little bit difficult for Matt to effectively sideboard without that confirmed for him.
I just realized something. You know what? We have to do a giveaway.
Not now. Not until
It's not
this
the
isn't
top
the
8
quarterfinals.
yet. Oh, I want it to be the top 8. You know why? Because it would be really cool seeing... I want Matt Boccio, honestly, to come back and make it... I'm sorry, Jeremy. I wanted him to come back and make it an exciting Game 3. Because I was actually, really pretty pumped just watching how he was kind of fighting that war, the Sylvan Library he's got, there was a 7-spell stack fighting over that Sylvan Library.
It was Spell Snare, Mental Misstep.
Well, Sylvan, Spell Snare, Mental Misstep, Mental Misstep, Mental Misstep, Force of Will.
Yeah.
I guess it's only 6 cards that were in that turn 2.
7 if you count the one removed by Force of Will.
Well, good point, detective. There we go. The thing about that, there was a brainstorm in that stack.
Was
as
there?
well.
There we go. Okay. That was a heck of a fight.
Now,
all on turn 2.
And the thing about that fight,
That
I
may
think
have-
that was
that
the
may
match.
have been the game,
That
right.
was the match,
Not
right
the match,
there.
but the game.
Yeah, good point. And we're going on to game 2 here. Matt Boccio, Lazen Island, and Jeremy Tibbetts, Flooded Strand.
But yeah, for Matt, if he expects the Stoneblade list, he has the Ancient Grudges, 2 copies. He's got Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast, which he of course is going to bring. He's got 3 red Rebs and 1 Pyroblast, so that's 4 copies there.
Easy includes there for all of those.
Grim Lavamancer doesn't seem too bad to fight the Stoneforges.
I like Grim Lavamancer in this matchup.
He's got his own Jace the Mind Sculptors, 2 of those, so and he's got a Thrun. So he's actually got a lot of cards that he could theoretically bring in. He may actually have decided against the Ancient Grudges, considering some of the other cards' strengths, and him not knowing for sure whether Jeremy was playing the Stoneblade version.
Well, there are so many different variants that this could be. I mean,
Yeah.
we could actually see a deck that has only Vendilion Click as the creature. It
Yeah.
could be Vendilion Click and Stoneforge Mystic. It could be Click, Mystic, and some
Spellstutter
Spellstutter
Sprite.
sprites. It could even go beyond that. I mean,
Right.
there's no real telling.
There's a Brainstorm from Jeremy. Turn 1 main phase Brainstorm. Matt brainstorms in response. Appears to be resolving.
I see a Force of Will and a Pyroblast in Matt Boccio's hand. Watching all of this Legacy, it's really got me hungering to cast Stifle on people, even if Mental Misstep exists. Like, I'm thinking a Stifle Fish. Get some Merfolk, get some
Stifle
Stifles
Fish.
in there.
It's unfortunate that Stifle, or maybe fortunate that Stifle is not legal in Modern.
Unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate.
Well, for your Stifle Fish deck, for sure. If you make a Merfolk deck called Stifle Fish, I think you're going to be very disappointed.
It would just
that
be
you...
fish. I mean, it would just
Yeah.
be fish. I would just... Yeah.
All right, so now Mental
Brainstorm.
Misstep for Jeremy's Brainstorm, and then a Mental Misstep for that Mental Misstep. So Jeremy's Brainstorm now resolving.
Untap. That was an
That was on Matt's...
end of turn Brainstorm, which is
okay,
kind of unusual.
I thought it was a turn 1 main phase, but yeah, I was definitely wrong about that.
That's a strange one. You don't see that very often. Not without a fetch land immediately there to help make it a shuffle.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was a turn 1 main phase Brainstorm when
it-
Matt
it-
had 2 lands in play.
I think I just see a Taiga. Is that a Taiga that's at the top there?
That is a Taiga.
Second Tundra, 2 of 3. There are 9 fetch lands in this deck to get a grand total of 10 lands, 3 Tundra, 6 Islands, and a Plains.
You know, Jeremy also has access to Spell Pierce, which is seems like it would be very good against Natural Order. Although he will have to fight through mental missteps. Alright, so Matt cracking a Misty Rainforest.
Three land versus three land. When the board is clear like this is a definitely moment where it favors Jeremy.
Oh, absolutely.
Matt thinking about what's up next for him.
I think he did bring in Spell Pierces. I thought I saw one in hand.
1 mana, main phase Brainstorm.
He's actually, I think, digging for his 4th land because it is his 4th turn here.
Fire Ice in his draw from the Brainstorm amongst other cards. It was an end of turn Brainstorm.
Huh, okay.
Again, I'm a little surprised by some of these plays like that.
Right, sometimes it's just tough to figure out exactly where they are, because...
I mean, if he's digging for a land and he... I mean, it locks down the power of the Brainstorm, but if he needs a land next turn, well, then he needs a land next turn. Dryad Arbor and Tarmogoyf Cast leaves him with 1 blue mana available that he can tap.
And Vendilion Click from Jeremy.
In response, looks like that's going to draw a Pyro.
Yeah, Pyro.
It's a red Elemental Blast, pardon. And the graveyard stretching across the middle.
Yeah, a red Elemental Blast is hanging out with Tarmogoyf over there. One's in play, one's in the graveyard.
Mishra's Factory. He says go. Untap. Fifth land here for Matt.
Alex Bernstein to the main event stage, please. Alex Bernstein to the main event stage.
Matt comes in with the 1/1 and the Tarmogoyf of questionable size. I believe we have an instant, land, creature. I don't think we have anything else. It's a 3/4. Southern Elephant size.
Southern Comfort. Did I say Southern Comfort?
He said Southern Comfort. Southern Elephants.
I don't know. Matt's probably taking some comfort in the fact that his Tarmogoyf is in the red zone.
Jace the Mind Sculptor. Looks like that's going to summon a Vendilion Click from Jeremy's hand. Let's just check to see if you can fight my Spell Pierce. If Matt Force of Wills the Vendilion Click, should he have a Force of Will, then he won't be able to stop the...
And he does.
Yeah, he does. But that's what is that, a Pyroblast?
That's tough to tell, but I believe it is. It looks red. Then again, Force of Will looks red too, besides its frame. Artwork looks very red. But, oh no, he just showed it to him, so he didn't actually force it, he just showed him. And Force of Will goes to the bottom.
And then Spell Pierce here is going to finish off that Jace.
So my guess is that wasn't a red Elemental Blast, because otherwise, why even worry about the Force of Will? You know, why not leave him with the Force of Will, which could not fight? I mean, I guess you want to take it, but he could have just drawn something.
Oh my god, Sword of Fire and Ice. Wow.
Yikes. Yeah, you're right. His fine to just take the Force of Will.
5 damage, and then 2 more damage, and then a card draw.
Kill the Dryad Arbor.
So it's only 5 damage because he redirects the shock to the Dryad Arbor, which is fun if you ask me.
Yeah. Not necessarily redirect, but directs the shock.
Yep. Tarmogoyf right now a little bit bigger. It's got creature, land, instant, and planeswalker.
Yeah.
We're up to 4/5 size.
Now, as soon as Matt decides he wants to play Tarfire,
And that's leatherback Baloth sized Tarmogoyf. Matt Boccio could really use an Ancient Grudge right now.
and again, Matt may have not brought those in because, he may not have known that Jeremy was on the equipment plan. I mean, it's a good bet, but it is a possibility that he played it safe and thought, I didn't see anything like that. I didn't see a Stoneforge Mystic. I didn't see a single piece of equipment.
Main phase Vendilion Click, it works. And he takes a glance at who? Who will he choose? He's thinking who to target with the Vendilion Click.
Yeah. I really value the information, but, I think that doesn't necessarily mean that's the right thing to do. I know I tend to want to know exactly what's happening over there.
Well, it depends on if you've got a card you think is totally dead in your hand. For example, Force of Will at this point, let's get rid of it. He doesn't think it's good anymore. His hand's too low, and his mana, he's only got 4 of it. There we have a Noble Hierarch, makes the Tarmogoyf a little bit bigger. Comes in for 5 because of the Noble Hierarch.
Yeah, they're counting up the Goyf now. It's either Leatherback Baloth or it's, Mahamodi Jin, 5/6.
Mahamudi is a flyer, though.
That's true. It was the first one I could think of.
Me too, I understand. He's my go-to guy at that power toughness. Mahamodi, a powerhouse in his day, seems pretty quaint nowadays.
Yeah.
And here we see the Mistress Factory coming in, and I believe Matt is going to throw his Noble Hierarch in the way. Ooh, maybe he just takes it. And then the Noble Hierarch dies.
Yeah, that seemed like a better idea to just block with the Noble Hierarch.
And then maybe a Swords here.
It's a dismember.
Dismember. Ouch. I like the blocking.
Apparently, Tarmogoyf was a Leatherback Baloth. I mean, I know he was a 5/6 because of the Noble Hierarch when attacking, but when not attacking, was Baloth sized because otherwise that dismember would not have finished him off. Wow, yeah, that seemed like... I mean, he was losing the Hierarch either way, but why give Jeremy an extra card? And take more damage. That seemed like just a misplay, so...
Vastwood Gorger, says Saul Malka. Saul Malka coming up with the really nice vanilla 5/6 for us.
There we go. So I think that was it. Matt was just too low on life there, and I saw a Fire Ice, but I don't know if it was even countered. Wait a minute.
Did he mulligan or sideboarding?
Yeah, I think Jeremy won that. I didn't see any way that
No,
Matt wins.
Well, okay, he survives that turn, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Then Matt could swing with... no, he didn't have a creature in play. So Jeremy's at low life, and Matt burns him twice with a Fire Ice and a Lightning Bolt.
Is that what it was? Did he had? I saw a Fire Ice. That's all I saw.
I didn't see any burn. Oh, wait, the game was... Maybe he flashed the cards to Jeremy, and Jeremy's like, I guess that's my death.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been something like that.
We'll find out as soon as we can get word from the judge about what the last plays of the game were there.
Yeah, I thought it was a don't have anything, can't do anything, and that's it.
There it is. Jeremy fetched and was shot by fire from Fire Ice.
Oh, okay, that's what happened.
Going
Jeremy's
down to 2 life
threw me
and
off.
then being burned out.
That's what it was. Didn't see the fetch. Saw the Fire Ice.
So Jeremy runs 9 fetch lands, being knocked exactly to 0. it's possible that maybe that's slightly too many fetch lands, or maybe that's the right amount. It's hard to tell. Brainstorm and Jace make your fetch lands all the more powerful. But I mean, one life can really matter, as we see there.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy because Jeremy really had like kind of commanding control of that game, despite or kind of
Tenuous control, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess maybe you're right. It wasn't like a ridiculous lead, but I mean, having the that Sword of Fire and Ice continue to connect, or the creature with the sword.
Look at Jeremy's face right now.
Yeah,
he looks pretty downtrodden by that. Now, for Jeremy, being in this moment right now, one key: you have to keep your mental game together. You don't want to have this be a moment where you tilt.
Absolutely, yeah. He may be fine with it. He may just have thought he was safe and didn't count the fire ice. I don't know that fetching was necessarily a misplay. It was just a risky play that turned out to be the end of that game for him. But going to 2 life seems like it's always a risky play, and even if Matt didn't have the fire ice in hand at the time, Jeremy knows it's there because he saw it with Vendilion Click. He knows it's in the list. He knows that a top deck burn spell could be the end of the game for him.
And we get an island facing off from a volcanic island. End of the turn Brainstorm. Again, this is a play generally you want to reserve for when you really are looking for land, perhaps. Or else if you maybe are a little inexperienced with Legacy and you've got a case of end of your turnitis.
End of your turnitis.
Yeah, one of the big keys in a really good Legacy play is how you make use of your Brainstorms. Stoneforge Mystic.
That's the first one of the match. It's funny, people are tweeting at us asking if we happen to be looking away from the screen. If we're looking away and reading your tweets. Yes.
Yes.
Sometimes we look over to read your tweets to see, if you guys have anything to add, and we look back and we happen to have missed something.
Yeah, I mean, we can't push a pause button on the match in progress. So we get a turn 2, Green Sun Zenith getting a Noble Hierarch. The judge rightfully pointing out Green Sun Zenith gets shuffled in.
Also, sometimes game-ending plays specifically, you don't actually see them play out because it's kind of this is what I've got, and then that's it, and it's so quickly, or it happens so quickly that it's just not on the screen for long at all.
Mishra's Factory, the 3rd land from Jeremy Tibbetts. And Jeremy's brother today was playing Merfolk. I'm not quite sure how his brother did, but you can see a very different approach to the game here. Force of Will had knocked out that Stoneforge Mystic. That wasn't going to be something Matt wanted to see. So now Noble Hierarch sits facing down a Mishra's Factory. Third land, 4th mana, including that Noble Hierarch from Matt Boccio. Says go. Draw from Jeremy Tibbetts, and lays a 4th land of his own. He's got a Spell Pierce in his hand, perhaps 2 Spell Pierces. Says go. Matt does nothing at the end of the turn, and he draws a Force of Will.
Yeah, Jeremy just needs to protect himself from natural order at this point.
Tropical Island.
Trying to see the time. I think 13 minutes. See if I'm right. Adrian's going to check on the time. 13 minutes. Okay. 13 minutes left in the round.
that's probably more a reasonable amount of time for both of these players to be able to finish.
I agree.
They could run out, but they have reasonable time to finish this.
Right. Hierarch,
He
adding
says,
a mana.
let's spell pierce that. The sacrifice has happened. He pays the 2. Let's spell pierce that again.
Yes, double spell pierce.
Perhaps a force of will coming from Matt to fight for this.
He's already used 1.
2 cards for 2 cards isn't a terrible trade.
There's a force of will, removing fire ice. Now, keep in
Jeremy's
mind,
still contemplating this.
yeah, keep in mind also, like we mentioned, Jeremy has several answers once Progenitus hits play, which he's going to have to find now because it looks like that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Phantasmal Image.
Wrath of God
Wrath
times
of
2.
God. Yeah. 3 answers to Progenitus.
1 is in his hand.
Oh, look at that. There is God. Wrath of God.
Problem is, does he have a second white
He
source?
does not have a second white
Not in
currently.
play, but I don't know about
And
in his
Jeremy
hand.
says go. He does not have it. So Jeremy draws, says go. Matt comes back, swinging for 10. Now Matt is untapped. Says go. Right here, Jeremy needs a white source, or it's it. I think that's it.
I think that's it too. Jeremy just can't find a white source.
There is
Wow.
just not enough time for Jeremy to come back. And Matt Boccio.
With no rug. Very unfortunate. I feel like, I mean, that it's he had literally 2 draw steps. That's it. So it's not
Yeah.
like, wow.